What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Welcome to Green Room, another Green Room show. Today's guest is Sam Cohen, $20 million seller on Amazon. He's built a business from scratch, has a team, and we're going to be talking about a lot of great topics to not only get you on the right path, but to build your business, scale your business, manage your business, and a lot more. It's going to be a ton of fun. Sam Cohen, what's going on? Why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll go around the table a little bit.
Great to finally meet you, Steve. And yeah, I'm ready to deliver. We're based here in Ocean, New Jersey. We've been doing Amazon for 6 years, and we're super excited to share with your audience what we have to share.
Awesome, man. It's really nice to meet you, and I'm looking forward to meeting you as well at the end of the month at your conference, which we're going to be talking about a little more, probably mid-show. What's going on, Chris, man? Good to have you here. How you doing? How's Austin, Texas, man?
Austin, Texas is good. Today we had a slight cold front come in. It went to 69 degrees, but that's cold for Austin, Texas. So I'm in the house, had a great day, and finally turned in all my tax documents this morning. So I feel good. But yeah, this is going to be a banger of a show. It's going to be great, and we'll definitely break off every 20 minutes or so for audience questions. So we have an amazing outline in front of us, and we want to get straight to it, right, Rakin?
I'm ready to dive into it. Sam, you ready to rock and roll, man?
I was born ready.
Born ready. Okay.
Take it away, Chris.
So we have Sam Cohen here. It's about time we have Sam Cohen on the Green Room Hangout. Man, it took long enough to get him here. But anyway, Sam, where are you from? And, for the people out there that might not know who you are, what do you do?
Sure. So I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. I now live on the Jersey Shore with my wife and kids, and we do a bunch of different things. Mainly, we sell on Amazon, and we teach people how to make money selling on Amazon. So we've been doing Amazon since March of 2011. We got into this business I got into this business kind of by accident. I was a corporate executive at an electronics company called Hire America, which is a pretty big company, and there's a Chinese parent company that owns it. And about 2008, 2009, we were seeing some disconnect in the marketplace as the recession came in. And they were saying that the higher level executives either had to take a huge pay cut or were going to be let go. So with the writing on the wall, I ventured out onto my own. And for about 2 years, I struggled to find my way. I was doing street fairs and flea markets in New York City. I was selling, a friend of mine got me into DVDs, public domain DVDs that he was selling into Walgreens, and he was giving me all his rejects and returns. And I was literally selling them for $1 each in like street fairs and flea markets. I had some previous success on eBay when digital cameras came out about 15 years ago, right around 2000, 2001. And so I attempted to sell 1,000 DVDs on eBay for $1,000 as a bulk lot. And, because I had a lot of DVDs and I wasn't really selling more than a couple of hundred a day at the flea market, so it wasn't really adding up to enough money. So I had someone on eBay email me asking me. What I did was I took my own DVD collection and I put it into the mix to sweeten the pot. And so I had like all quality titles like Top Gun and Rain Man and Beatles Anthology and Twilight Zone and stuff that people would actually want to buy and watch and resell. So I had someone email me on eBay saying, how many of these titles are in the 1,000? And when I told him, oh, it's about 100, he goes, oh, so the other 900 aren't really worth much to me. So I said, okay, what are you doing with these? Are you reselling them individually on eBay? Do you have a retail store? Are you doing flea markets? And he answered me, and I wish I had saved the email. It was all done through eBay. He said, no, I got 3 kids working for me. They get $8 an hour, and we sell about 1,000 DVDs a month on Amazon. So, of course, I said, oh, that's interesting. I go to Google. I said, how do you sell on Amazon? I didn't even know you could be a third-party seller on Amazon back in 2011. So I started researching, and the information from Amazon wasn't really very good at the time. And there wasn't a whole lot of information on the internet. I was telling Steve before we went on air, I jumped onto Google and YouTube and anywhere I could find information. I must have typed that phrase in hundreds of times on Google, hoping to get different results. And I dove deep into the results, hoping to get, different information. And there was a guy, Rob Anderson, who, from Dollar Moves. He was on YouTube, and he had some information about how to sell on Amazon. And I literally watched his videos over and over again, hoping to learn something different each time I watched it. And I partnered up with a company that was doing software for Amazon sellers. It was called Monsoon Commerce. They're still around, but I don't think they're a very big player right now. And they wanted 2.5% of my sales, which I didn't mind because I really didn't have a lot of sales. And there was a guy over there, and he kept telling me, listen, you got to do Amazon FBA. You got to do Amazon FBA. And I didn't know how to create a shipment. I didn't know how to print a label. I didn't know how to do anything. And I couldn't imagine, buying product, putting it in a box, shipping it to Amazon, and not getting paid for it until it possibly sold, days, weeks, months later. So the whole concept was foreign to me. And it took me about 6 months. From March 2011, I was doing about $25,000 a month. As soon as I flipped the switch to Amazon FBA, my sales quadrupled in October of 2011 to $100,000 a month. At that point, I said to my wife, hey, I think I'm onto something here. Can you leave your job and come help me? Because I need to make sure the internet stays on and the lights stay on and the bills get paid. I just want to buy and sell right now, and I was so excited. And my wife's a lot more conservative than me. And she's like, well, why don't we save some money for a rainy day? And I have a very high paying job. She has a master's degree in social work from NYU. So she had a very good job. And for me to convince her to come work with me selling stuff on the internet was a pretty tough sale. But again, as soon as I convinced her, business went through the roof because she ran it with military precision. All I wanted to do was wheel and deal and buy and sell, which is what I do best. And she took care of everything else, making sure everything went out on time, making sure that the goods got to Amazon, making sure, we did what we had to do other than buying and selling. And, thank God we're very blessed. Business took off from there. And, my wife worked with me for the next couple of years. The first person we hired was a warehouse manager. We actually moved from a 1-bedroom apartment to a 600 square foot warehouse from a 1-bedroom apartment to a 10 by 10 office inside of someone's office to a 600 square foot, then 2,500 square foot, 4,000. And where we are now is 16,000 square feet. We're 100% FBA. So our warehouse is pretty much a staging area for FBA. We don't really warehouse too many goods unless we buy a deal of, let's say, 100 pallets of toys, and we can't send them all into Amazon in one shot. We'll send in 300 or 500 at a time, and we'll replenish on an as-needed basis. So it's been a tremendous ride the last 6 years. We've literally doubled in size every year for the last 6 years. We now have a full staff of people, and it's a very mature business. So we have buyers in place. We have warehouse people in place. We have all different components in place. So it pretty much runs on autopilot right now. Obviously, I take care of the big decisions and the big picture, like finances and, other decisions that have a big impact on the bottom line. But what it's allowed me to do is allowed me to focus on my consulting business, which is something I'm very passionate about.
And that's where you help other people get the same results as and on the same path as you did, right?
Yeah. So what happened was this all happened organically. It wasn't anything I had conceived of, but I was literally helping people in Facebook groups for 4, 6, 8 hours a day, just answering questions just because I wanted to help people. And then I realized it was consuming, half of my day or most of my day. And there was an article that came out about me in the Wall Street Journal. And, I was talking to someone who I respect very much, Chris Green. And, I said, maybe I can do something where I could work with a handful, a certain amount of individuals, and we can really focus on helping them directly one-on-one. So I came up with this concept, to work with 100 sellers. And I wanted to make sure it was worth my time because obviously I'm taking away from my own business. And we hired a staff and we trained coaches and we really worked on building a coaching consulting business. And we did zero advertising. We did zero affiliate programs. We did zero anything. And we were able to get 100 clients, the first year, and it was wildly successful. We had a 98% success rate. And then we launched it again the second year, and we doubled in size in the consulting business. We now have roughly 200 clients. And we're working with everyone from, brand new people who've never sold an item online all the way up to Fortune 500 companies who, we have confidentiality agreements with, but we're working with companies that are, doing hundreds of millions of dollars with regards to their Amazon presence and their e-commerce strategies.
Okay. So that is quite the intro from Sam Cohen. That might be that's definitely the most, how do I say it, encompassing intro I've ever seen on the Green Room Hangout show. Like, I felt like I was just going on the journey with you there, man. That's pretty cool, though. And we're going to get more into like the warehouse, the staff, and all that kind of stuff, because this is going to be really exciting stuff. Now, before we get to that stuff, I think it's only fair that after you hear his story, or after you've heard that part of the story already, we need to make sure that you link up with Sam on his Facebook groups or anywhere that you can find him. So, Sam, how can people start linking up to find out more about your journey? Go ahead and dish out the Facebook groups. If you have a Twitter page, an Instagram page, anything like that, how can people start following your journey?
Sure. So we have our website is AmazonConsultingExperts.com. It's in the process. It's almost done. We just revamped the whole site. We also have a public Facebook group by the same name, Amazon Consulting Experts. We have 12,000 members in there, and people are readily helping and sharing information. And, if you could just read the comments and the threads, you can get yourself up to speed much faster on what's going on in the Amazon world. I spend a lot of my time in there. My staff spends a lot of their time in there. And we've really, I really came to the realization that my Amazon business sustains me, but my consulting business fulfills me. And once I realized that, it was so much easier to pour myself into the consulting business and give 110%. So we're working with different people who have been in education and been in e-commerce, and we're really trying to develop the greatest product, as it pertains to everything e-commerce and Amazon.
Okay. Do you have Amazon like on your cell phone, just sitting there, like people that are? It's probably a question you get asked every now and then, but this is just something I gotta know the answer right now. Like, do you have them on speed dial? Like if anything goes wrong, which probably nothing goes wrong, but do you have these guys like right there?
So the answer to that question is yes, but we pick our battles. So I was in Amazon headquarters with Chris Green and about 8 other sellers in October of 2014. We met with the head of seller support. We have a dedicated account rep. We've emailed Jeff a few times. We've gotten every single client of ours reinstated that's ever gotten suspended. We have a 100% track record for getting people reinstated. So we have connections. We just use them sparingly. We're not going to bother them for something that, doesn't warrant their attention.
Sam, if something is new on Amazon, how can people get in trouble? So like are you reinstating a lot of people that didn't follow rules, or they're sending in used goods that aren't right? Because most of these people are probably sending in new stuff, right?
So yeah, we most of our clients, I would say 99% do brand new products. Some will do used books or used media, CDs, DVDs. But for the most part, we're selling new products. Sometimes you'll get what's called an inauthentic claim from Amazon. And that's either the customer saying they don't believe the item is authentic, and then you have to provide receipts or invoices of where you bought it from within the last 90 or 180 days. And they have to validate that it's authentic merchandise. There's people that do merchant fulfilled and sometimes they don't ship on time. There's people that don't answer buyer messages on time. So these are reasons why you can get suspended on Amazon. As everyone knows, Amazon's a very customer-centric company. They're customer obsessed, and that's why they're so successful. Amazon's been around for 21 years now. Most people don't realize how long they've been around. Everyone still thinks Amazon's a brand new company, but they've earned the trust of very loyal customer base. So they're going to protect their customers above anything else, including third-party sellers, as they should.
Okay. There's a comment in the feed real quick from Cameron McCool. It says, "Hey, Mr. Cohen, this is Cameron McCool. I met you at the Tony Robbins Business Mastery. It's good to see you and hear from you again." So that's from Cameron McCool. And yes, if you're watching this right now, it is live. If there's a feed that looks like it's scrolling up and down, it's definitely a live show. So, we're going to break off for some questions here in about 10 minutes. Rakin, we want to go to like rapid fire mode with some of these questions real quick, maybe about 4 of them?
Yeah, sure. Let's dive into it. We've got a little outline of questions, but like Chris said, we're going to be jumping back and forth. Let's get right into it. So, Sam, if you had to say what your typical day is like, now that you're, obviously maybe there's not a typical day, but what is one of your days look like in the life of Sam Cohen, consulting business? You did 20 million last year. I don't know what you're on pace for this year, but either way, you've got this team, you've got this company, you're growing. Like, what's a day look like for you from that perspective?
So when I first started, I was working 18 hours a day. I've since scaled back because that wasn't sustainable. And now I've gone back in with the consulting. I've gone all in. So I'm putting in a lot more hours than I used to. We're making a ton of video content, doing a ton of one-on-one coaching with clients, working with, different people, networking with different people. I'm also, taking it upon myself to continue my education. So as Mr. McCool mentioned, I've been spending a lot of time with Tony Robbins events. He has an event called Business Mastery, which I attended in Las Vegas.
That looks great.
In August, it's incredible. It's worth every penny. He had people like David Meerman Scott and Jay Abraham and, a bunch of really incredible rock stars there. And they really teach you how to get rid of your limiting beliefs, whether it be in personal or wealth or health or any of your areas of life that you want to work on. So I've drank the Kool-Aid of Tony Robbins. I became a platinum partner, and I've gotten to travel the world with him for the last 6 months. So
okay. Well, we got to stop right there. Hold on real quick. A platinum partner with Tony Robbins. Really quickly explain what that means.
You don't want to know.
So I think we do want to know. I think 222 people that are watching right now, Sam, probably want to know what that means.
It sounds good.
There's a couple of hundred people in the world that join Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership. It's very expensive. And basically you get one-on-one access to Tony. You get to travel with him. You get to go to special events for Platinum Partners. So I went from Vegas to San Jose to India to Boca Raton to Whistler, British Columbia.
Oh, cool.
All in the last 6 months. And, the people that he brings and we just went on a trip to Whistler, British Columbia. And it was majestic. It was beautiful. And it was the platinum financial trip. So the people that he brought on the trip were like Ray Dalio, who's like the most successful hedge fund manager in the history of the world. He brought in billionaire after billionaire. He brought in Bitcoin guys. He brought in the guys who shorted the housing market in 2008. He brought in Peter Diamandis. And then the last day he had a special guest for us, and it was William Jefferson Clinton. So it was 200 of us, Secret Service, Tony, and Bill Clinton in the room for the entire day. And it was we just had to have, like a conversation with him for many, many hours. And it was pretty awesome. And we learned a lot about, where the market is headed. We've been in a bull market for over 7 years. and how to hedge your bets and how to take advantage if the market's going to correct itself again. And, you know, different strategies when it comes to real estate or life insurance or, you know, other wealth strategies of, you know, how to invest your money or how to position yourself to take advantage if things crash again. And it was pretty wild.
That sounds pretty incredible. That sounds like the opportunity of a lifetime. But that's interesting. So you probably talk a little bit more about that in your Amazon Consulting Experts thing too, right? You kind of bring back what you've learned and all that kind of stuff, and you put it all there, right?
Yes. So there's a lot of content, and we're shooting it religiously. We also went bobsledding on the Olympic track. They built the track for the Olympics in 2010, I believe it was. And we had an Olympic bobsledder take us on the bobsled at 100 miles an hour. So you were going sideways, and you hit G4, so you felt it in your back and your upper body. Wow. It was pretty wild. And we did dog sledding, and we did snowmobiling, and we did skiing, obviously. So it was pretty cool. And it's like the experience of a lifetime. And then we did an opposite trip into India where it was all spiritual and meditation and yoga. And we went to the Ganges River where you see people being cremated. People. Yeah, you see dead people. Exactly. So you know
dead people that are like floating in the water. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Varanasi where people go to die, and they throw the bones into the Ganges River. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So
it's quite obvious that you're investing a lot. These aren't cheap events. These aren't cheap things that you're doing. You're obviously investing a lot into your business. And, you know, some people might argue, well, hey, look, he made 20 million. He's growing. He's only investing because he's making money. That's what a lot of people think. But let me ask you, when you were getting started and you were new and you were growing, have you always been the type of guy to just like dive in, and you've always invested? You've always known the value of spending that money to whether take the course or get in front of the people who are successful or figure out the strategy? Has that always been your type of personality, or is that something new that you've been doing?
So I always had that, even when I was dead broke. And my wife and I have had a lot of disagreements about that. And I always said, you know, let me find someone more experienced. Let me find someone more successful. Let me find someone more knowledgeable. Model myself after them. Pay them for information. Pay them for experience. You know, let me learn from someone else's mistakes instead of making my own mistakes, which might cost me a lot more. And, you know, there's different quotes that you'll see me post, either business related or Bible related. And a lot of them have to do with, a simple person, you know, may or may not learn from his mistakes. An average person will learn from his mistakes, and a wise person will learn from other people's mistakes. So, you know, I'd rather learn from someone else's mistakes. I'd rather, you know, accelerate the learning curve. I'd rather, you know, spend money with a Tony Robbins or a Russell Brunson or a Brian Tracy or any of these other guys that have been successful, and just say, you know what, show me the way. I'll absorb everything. I've always been a consumer of knowledge. I have an insatiable appetite for learning. I've watched your videos, Steve, for years on YouTube. I've learned a lot from you as well. And I'm just a consumer of knowledge and information, and, you know, it's insatiable. It's not something I'm ever going to stop doing. I probably read as much as Warren Buffett does. Whether it's on Facebook or elsewhere, you know, I just read and read and read and read, and then eventually it gets applied into my life somehow. So it's obviously a lot of it is video related now, and a lot of it is audio. It's just consuming. I have the ability to consume a lot of information and then filter it and then apply it to different areas of my life. And, you know, it's a blessing to be able to do that.
Okay.
You know.
Let's like take it back a little bit more to the beginning, around that 2011 time. I'm going to ask you a couple questions about how that kind of like played out. So if I hear you right, started with DVDs 2011, am I right?
Yes.
And then shortly thereafter, I mean, it ramped up. It seemed like it ramped up considerably. You asked your wife, or you sold your wife on working with you and for you.
With me.
Yes. With you, okay. Yes. With you. Right after that, when did you get the first employee? Was it 2012, 2013?
So it was 2012. As soon as we realized it wasn't in our best interest DVDs have to be labeled. They cannot be commingled. So every single DVD that we sold had to have a label put on the back of it covering the original UPC.
Right.
Now, when you're selling thousands and thousands and thousands, we were selling 1,000 DVDs a day. So the example I told you earlier of the guy selling 1,000 DVDs a month, this thing took on a life of its own. And my wife was like, you know what, let's save some money for a rainy day. And I'm like, we're buying stuff for $2 and selling it for $10 or $20. I'll sell a kidney if I have to buy more inventory. You know, there was nothing I was going to do to stop buying inventory. And I just kept pounding it for 2 years. I didn't take money out of the business. I just kept reinvesting until we had enough of a monthly amount to say, okay, now we can start taking money for ourselves and we can invest, we can do other things. We can buy a house. But we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. My monthly bills were $2,000 a month, soup to nuts, you know. And I have 2 older kids, so I was paying child support and alimony. And, you know, we lived bare bones for 2 years to get to a place where we had enough momentum in the business that it would self-perpetuate at some point.
Right. So now let's fast forward to what your current operation looks like right now. A warehouse that's how big now? 16? What did you say?
So we have a 16,000 square foot warehouse. In all honesty, it's probably more than we need. You know, we were housing goods for clients, and we took a lot of deals came to me. You know, people said, who do you know that I could trust implicitly, and who do you know that knows Amazon? So a few people pointed different people my way, and we had one guy who had about 20 stores in the tri-state area, children's wear stores, and he was getting out of the business. He was going into real estate full time. He had plenty of money, and he just wanted to liquidate his inventory. So he sent us about 500-600 pallets of inventory.
Wow. That's 500 or 600. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, so we had containers in the yard, and we rented an entire self-storage building just because we had nowhere to put the merchandise while we were sorting through it. It was basically 30 years of inventory that he just pushed on us, and he said, you go sell it online, and we'll split the money. So I was like, okay, this could be very profitable. Yeah. So
there's no risk for you then. The only risk was your account, right, for the most part?
Well, the account, the space, the rent, the labor, and the man hours. The man hours were insane on this. I mean, we spent 6 figures processing this stuff. So
how long does it take to get through 500 pallets? Let me ask you, 2 months? 1 month?
No, it took us almost a year.
Because
a lot of the stuff wasn't listed on Amazon, so we had to create listings. And some of the stuff was, like, we had a SpongeBob SquarePants comforter that nobody else had. So we created the listing, and we were able to sell it for $99 because we were the only ones on the listing. So while that should normally be a $49 item, because we were the only ones that had it, we were able to sell it for $99. And we had a lot of Star Wars stuff, and then the new movie came out. So that, you know, the old stuff got some momentum from that. We had, you know, a lot of older stuff that always seems to do well on Amazon. And you can make healthy margins because there's not a lot of competition, you know, putting downward price pressure.
That was back in 2013 or so, 14, when that pallet thing came through?
Yeah. Okay. We still have some of the goods going to liquidators. But that's okay. We made our money on the deal. We also had a guy who had 20 bathing suit stores here in the Northeast. Same thing. He wanted to get out of retail, go do real estate. And we were able to buy 25,000 bathing suits for $100,000. So we paid $4 a bathing suit. And some of these bathing suits sell on Amazon for about $200.
Oh, wow.
So it's labor intensive, but it's definitely worth it.
Do you see yourself, Sam, getting more of these opportunities coming into your business because of, you know, the battle that's going on right now with the online world and the retail world? And there's a lot of retail stores are closing down. And Do you find yourself in a really good position because you have the manpower, you have the labor, you have the expertise? Do you see that as an opportunity for others to look into in the near future?
Absolutely. We're as Jeff Bezos says, we're still in the first inning of e-commerce. So if anyone wants to delude themselves to saying Amazon is saturated or e-commerce is, saturated, you're sadly mistaken. I mean, our business is doubling every year in size, month over month, year over year. If someone gave me, $100 million right now to go buy inventory, I'd be able to do it, because I know my business model. I know it's healthy. I know it's profitable. So I wouldn't be worried about, competition or price pressure or anything like that. We look at it like a financial, like an investment. So we take our money that we're going to allocate for inventory, and we look at the information that's in front of us, and we try to make good decisions with good information, and obviously good frame of mind. We don't want to be gambling. We don't want to be on tilt. We want to be, making good decisions with sound information and good decision-making skills. And so what we'll do is we'll invest in inventory, and let's say 80% of the time we'll make a lot of money. 10% of the time we'll probably make a little money or break even. And then 10% of the time we'll either break even or lose up to 20% of our original investment. So if you can get those odds, you'll put all your money on the table because you're going to win a lot more than you're going to lose.
There's a question in the feed. Well, there are a lot of questions in the feed, and I've seen this question come up repeatedly that's saying kind of like, how can we link up further with you? How can we, kind of like what you do with Tony Robbins, but some people are like, how can we get in with the Sam Cohen? Like, how can we get closer and like consulting, all that kind of stuff? And that brings me to this ACE conference thing that I think we should talk about. We're in the halfway mark of the show. What is the ACE conference, and how can people link up better with you behind the scenes? Maybe if they want to invest some of their money and start getting their Amazon business on the fast track. Because you said that you help people that are mom and pop people, some people that have never sold on Amazon before, people that have sold on Amazon before, and Fortune, 400 companies or something like that, right?
Fortune 500 companies. Yeah, they're actually Fortune 100, the people that we work with. But so the ACE conference has two purposes. One is it's a conference and networking opportunity for our existing clients, which they find tremendous value in. And the other one is to introduce potential new clients to our services. So the event's being held April 23rd, 2017. So I guess it's 2 weeks from this coming Sunday. It's being held here in Neptune, New Jersey, at a place called Jumping Brook Country Club, which is overlooking one of the nicest golf courses I've ever been to. And it's the same place I got married 6 years ago. It's a beautiful environment. And we have world-class speakers coming in from all over the world, people like Chris Green, Brian Burt, John Lawson. I don't know how many of these guys your audience might know, but these are guys that are pretty successful in the Amazon world, and they're going to be there sharing, new stuff that's going on with Amazon, new strategies, new techniques, new sources, new ideas. And the value is in hearing the speakers, but it's also in networking with either other sellers or other potential sellers, because I've picked up tips that were worth six figures to me by talking to sellers at a conference. And it's not like they gave me the information, but it's something I discovered by talking to them and looking at something maybe in a different light that said, hey, maybe I should start selling shoes on Amazon. I met with a guy, I don't know if you want to hear the story. I met with a guy who was selling children's clothing. So he had like Batman pajamas and Superman pajamas and this and that. And he's like, well, I don't know if I want to sell to you guys because you're an Amazon seller. And I sell to Amazon sellers, and I also sell to Amazon. And so I said, you know what, let me show the guy that we're a pretty serious seller. And I said, we're in the top 1% of all Amazon sellers, and we're going to sell $10 million this year on Amazon. And he looked at me and he said, well, my son sells on Amazon, and he does over $10 million a year just in shoes.
Wow.
And I went, very interesting. And I went back to my office. This was a meeting in Midtown Manhattan. And I went back to my office and I went on Zappos website and I said, okay, give me a list of every single company that makes shoes. And we had my staff working on it, our VAs working on it, I was working on it, and we put together a list of 1,000 companies that manufacture shoes and sell on Zappos or other similar type of websites. We then started learning about different shoe brands and different shoe styles and colors and sizes and shapes and this and that. And we really dove into the shoe market. And this was in June of 2015. And last year we sold, in 2016, I believe we sold over $8 million worth of shoes on Amazon.
That's unbelievable. So these are almost direct deals with the people, correct?
So we're doing, so we teach 5 different methods or 5 different pillars, as I like to call them, of sourcing. So some of them, you know, you guys are familiar with, which is retail arbitrage, which is going to stores and scanning and sourcing and seeing where there's profit margins and sales velocity. We also do something called online arbitrage, which is effectively the same thing. But you can do a lot more research with Keepagraphs and Camel. You can do a lot of cashback websites. We use discount gift cards. We use a lot of different techniques to increase our margins. Then we do traditional wholesale, which is buying direct from manufacturers and their respective distributors, you know, opening up accounts. We also have a retail store, so we're able to open wholesale accounts that other Amazon sellers cannot have access to. A lot of manufacturers don't want to sell to just another Amazon seller. So we opened a brick and mortar retail store so we could have access to those accounts.
There's an actual brick and mortar store that does those shoes.
Yes.
Wow. What's it called? Like Cohen's feet shoe thing?
No, it's called Gems Fashion Headquarters. It's my kids' initials. So it's JEMS. And it's in a beautiful shopping mall. And yeah, we got clothing, shoes, toys, you name it, health and personal products, beauty products. We're getting into home goods now. And that's allowed us to have relationships with manufacturers that don't want to sell to just another Amazon seller.
For the overhead and the staff and keeping the lights on, it brings in all these deals from all these other people.
And we have about 200 wholesale accounts that our clients are able to buy from as well.
Wow. Well, that's cool. So the clients that are in that mastermind type group thing that you're talking about? Right.
Correct. Okay. So 99.9% of Amazon sellers don't have 200 wholesale accounts that they can buy from, right? So our clients have that as part of the value for being our clients. And, you know, we have big accounts with Calvin Klein and Jockey, and I don't want to reveal all our brands that we work with, but you get what I'm saying. You know, they're able to buy directly from these companies through us.
So
I think you should build an outlet mall one day, Sam.
I don't ever want to be in retail again. The retail store is to have access to the brands. If you follow what I'm
That's
saying.
really interesting. Yeah, I totally get it. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, sure. So I was going to flip the script a little bit because I'm seeing some comments come in. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and Sam's got his hands in a bunch of different cookie jars. I like how you said earlier that, you know, if you were given $100 million, you would just buy, and it's the first inning of e-commerce and everything. But there's a lot of people right now, and I feel like it's a lot of beginners, even intermediates and some advanced people. And there's been some comments coming in through the green room and other groups saying, you know, I don't think I want to sell on Amazon anymore. The opportunities aren't there. It's time to move on. A lot of people are scared about the restrictions, about being gated off in different categories, suspensions, all that. What's your advice to the people out there who are giving up hope? The people who they feel like they've been around the block and it's all done. And there's so many people who feel that. And I know, Chris, you've been seeing comments that have been coming in like that too.
Yeah, it has to do with the restrictions primarily. And some of the restrictions, from what I can understand, doesn't make sense. There can be some sellers that have never sold a product completely unrestricted, and then some sellers that scan the same exact item that have great track records and are restricted from certain things, you know, certain toys. It doesn't make a bit of sense. Like,
so a lot of these things are, you have to look at it from Amazon's perspective. Amazon is a behemoth. They did over $100 billion. about half of which was from third-party sellers. They have to do things on a very scalable business model. So when there's brand restrictions, it usually means that there was a lot of counterfeiting of that brand, or there wasn't quality control or distribution control of that brand. Now, you may not be able to see the reason why one seller is restricted and another seller is not, and there may not be a valid reason right now that makes sense to the naked eye. But I can tell you, we have clients that are starting right now. They're very successful, very profitable. Obviously, we're guiding them in how to do that. We had a seller who joined our program last year. He had lost his house to foreclosure. He borrowed some money from a family member, not a lot of money. And he came to me and he said, I need your help here. I've been struggling since 2008, and it's 7 years later, and I'm having a hard time. And we worked with him, and we worked with him, and we worked with him. This guy, one-man show, never having sold anything online before, older guy, not necessarily tech savvy, but he had a lot of hustle. He did $2.5 million in his first year, which means he probably made about $500,000 in profit if you figure a 20% profit margin. And now he's got 7 employees. He just took a warehouse, and now he doubled his business. So
what's the main hustle right there? Let me ask you, is the main hustle RA, OA? Was it wholesale? Like, what was a combination of many things, or is it private label?
That particular client was 100% RA. And I just want to be clear with you.
Holy crap.
We have a client who does over $5 million strictly retail arbitrage. We have a client that does over $5 million strictly online arbitrage. We have clients, obviously, that are doing, 7 figures in private label, and we have clients that are doing, well into 7 figures in wholesale. So there's no one right, and we have clients that just do closeouts and liquidations. They call companies, what do you have that you're not selling anymore that we could buy for pennies on the dollar? Obviously, they do a lot of research. You find discontinued items. We've had toys that we bought either from closeout and liquidations or direct from manufacturers or even from Walmart. We had a toy that was discontinued. The company went out of business. We bought it for $5. We were selling for $19. Then we raised it $29, $39, $49, all the way up to $69. It was called Mundo. It was Play-Doh that supposedly never dried out. And we just kept raising the price because we were the only seller. We didn't get one return. We didn't get one person complaining about the price. We did that with Pie Face. We did that with Speak Out. We did that with a lot of games that we knew were in short supply. And we're direct with all these companies. So if there's going to be a game like Pie Face was a couple of years ago, where we knew Hasbro had not made enough of them, we were buying them retail arbitrage and online arbitrage for between $10 and $20 and selling them for between $50 and $70.
So let me ask you, you have a lot of clients who come in and work with you, and your fee is not cheap. It's actually super expensive, but obviously you've got the
I beg to differ.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say
is a relative term.
That's
yes,
right.
of course.
If you can start at zero and do $2.5 million in your first year and make $500,000 profit, is $5,000 really a lot of money?
Right. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Obviously, it's relative. What's it worth? I mean, the Tony Robbins Business Mastery. I know that's what, 10 grand just to join that.
10 grand for 5 days, right?
So let me ask you. You work with a lot of people, and what I was trying to say was, what do you notice in people who come to you, and maybe they've been on Amazon for 3 or 4 years, and maybe they're doing 100 grand a year or 200, but they're struggling. They're going, they're just spinning the wheel and they're feeling down. What's the difference between that person and someone who's doing 2 million RA? Not mindset, but like what overall, like what's the difference you see?
So we, in addition to people who never sold online, a lot of our clients are people that are selling on Amazon either part-time or full-time. And I would say they're doing anywhere from 10 to 50,000 a month in gross sales. Okay. And they tell me they've plateaued and they can't get past that and they don't know how to do more business. And what we work with them is, part of it is mindset, but we work with them on software. We work with them on processing. We work with them on logistics. We work with them on infrastructure. We work with them on technology. We work with them on time management, delegating, outsourcing, automating, and different things to make sure that whatever they're doing is the best use of their time. Okay, if you want to make $365,000 a year, that means your time is worth $1,000 a day, which means if you're putting in a 10-hour day, it's worth $100 an hour. So if you're packing boxes and you're putting labels on toys or DVDs or whatever you're selling, and that's a $10 an hour job, that means you're losing $90 an hour by doing that job if you don't outsource that. So these are things we teach. Obviously, it's a lot more detailed than the brief synopsis I'm giving you here. We also teach them how to leverage, time, and how to leverage money, how to take advantage when the odds are in their favor. We have opportunity buys where we can go spend $100,000 on, let's say, Nike in a particular weekend because the odds are in our favor. And different strategies. We use discounted gift cards. We can walk into particular retailers with 35% off discounted gift cards. So if we buy $100,000 worth of gift cards for $65,000, we already have a $35,000 or 35% built-in margin before we even walk in the doors. When we're buying direct from manufacturers, we're negotiating, on freight, on volume discounts, on closeouts and liquidations, on end-of-life products, on new products that not everybody has. We have exclusives made for us. We do is somewhat private label where, we work with clothing manufacturers. Give you an example. If everybody's selling a T-shirt with Anna and Elsa from Frozen, and it's a pink T-shirt, we can go to the manufacturer and say, hey, we'll take 3,000 of these in white, and you'll give us the exclusive on it, and we'll jump onto the same listing on Amazon as a variation, and it'll already have the sales velocity and the keywords and the rank and, the backlinks and everything else that goes along with an Amazon page, the images and the bullet points, and we'll piggyback onto that sales velocity, and we'll own that product in that, that particular ASIN. So there's different ways that we do things that most of the public either can't do or won't do or doesn't know how to do. And I always tell people, you don't know what you don't know. So we've had clients come to us and say, hey, I'm doing 10, 20 grand on Amazon. I've been doing it 6 years. I've been doing it 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. I don't know how to get to the next level. And we've taken them to 200,000-300,000 a month just by the things we've taught them. We have custom templates and spreadsheets and automation techniques and ways to create shipments and ways to process and ways to do things that reduce your time, by 90%. And how much is that worth? And how much does that save you? And how much does that allow you?
$5,000 shortcut.
Yeah,
that's a shortcut that's worth $5,000. That's for sure.
And that's where
it's the $5 million shortcut. We've had people, we've grown people's businesses by $2-3 million in a year. Obviously they have to do the work. They have to do the work. Money doesn't fall out of the sky. I always tell people it won't work if you don't work. But at the end of the day, most of the people, we screen our clients and we want to make sure that they really do want to grow their businesses. Some people are very content with what they're doing and they have no desire. People come to my warehouse. They're like, I don't ever want a warehouse. I don't want to deal with forklifts. I don't want to deal with employees. I don't want to deal with, putting out fires all day, metaphorically speaking. And, they just want to, buy and sell and make enough to pay their bills. So, everyone's got different ideas of what success means and what lifestyle means. We have clients that work 2 hours a day and we have clients that work 20 hours a day. Who's to say what's the definition of success? We have people doing millions and they're never happy, and we have people that are doing, $10,000 a month and they're ecstatic. Retirees and kids, and we're working with one of our clients. I'm sure she won't mind if I give her a shout out. Monica Busby. she's got more energy than all of us put together. And she came up with an idea which is better than any business idea I ever came up with. It's called E-commerce Kids. And she's teaching kids how to do Amazon. And she's got kids that are 12, 13, 14, 15 years old doing it with their parents. I'm teaching her, she's teaching them. I've taught them directly also. Cool. And some of these kids are doing 50 to 100,000 a month on Amazon. I met a kid in Vegas. I met a kid in Vegas. I think he was 12 or 13 years old, and he introduced himself as like the monkey millionaire or something. And the kid's like, I'm doing 50 grand a month on Amazon. I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, he was 12 years old. And, you know, the parents are not, you know, tech savvy e-commerce geniuses. You know, it's the parents and the kids doing it together. And it's a great way to teach your kids, you know, entrepreneurship, and that you don't have to go to college and get a job. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of college these days, but.
So yeah. I did want to jump in really quick. If you guys want to meet Sam, his conference is on April 23rd. 23rd. Okay.
It's a Sunday.
I'm going to be there the 22nd to the 24th.
Okay.
So I'm going with my mother because she's really excited to meet you as well. So awesome. I'll be there as well. What'd you say? There's over 100 people that are already booked on going, and plenty more coming?
Yeah, so we're expecting anywhere between 200 and 300 people. We probably have about 100 spots still open. It's only $99 to come to the conference. We're going to give you
cheap for a conference. That's
and we're going to give you three. It's not about the money. Last year I actually did it free, and my wife's like, "Listen, you got to at least cover our costs." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll charge $99." It's still not covering our costs, but okay. So we're going to give 3 meals, and we have incredible speakers. And it's, you know, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to network and to learn. And if anybody does join up for our program, the following 2 days, Monday, April 24th and Tuesday, April 25th, we're going to be having our monthly in-office conference in New Jersey. So what that means is every month we have clients coming in from all over the world, as far away as Australia. And me and my staff sit there with you for 2 days, kind of like Tony Robbins style, and we just load you up with information, and it's really immersive, and it's really hands-on training, and you could really accelerate your learning curve by leaps and bounds in the span of 48 hours. So those are going to be the subsequent 2 days after the conference, but those are only open to clients.
So the link is in the description, guys. People are asking where is it located? It's New Jersey. The link is in the description. Go down below. It links right to the page to join. So
yeah, and if you go on our website, down there
too, right?
Yeah. If you go on our website, it's AmazonConsultingExperts.com. And not to confuse anybody, but we are coming out with different programs. One is going to be video content only. Which is going to be less expensive. And then we're going to have the coaching. And then we have an inner circle where we work with you on developing private label products. And we work with you really hands-on. So we're coming out with different levels. It should be executed in the next 2 weeks. And, you know, we have clients, if you want to speak to clients who've been successful with us, you know, you can speak to any of the experts in the Facebook groups. They all know who we are, and you know, we have a ton of success stories, and you know, we love to help people, and you know, it's really been a blessing to be able to help and change people's lives.
Chris, you want to go into the comments and open it up to ask some questions?
There were a lot of questions about the conference where it's being held. We answered that real quick. Not soon. I mean, people are just basically listening, but I do have a question for you, because we got five more minutes on the show. So here's a question. You know, take $20 million Sam Cohen, and you're speaking to flea market Sam Cohen. All right. What 3 things would you tell flea market Sam Cohen? You know, do these 3 things over the next 8 years or whatever. You know, do these 3 things. Oh, I mean, really hone it down to 3 things, like 3 big tips that would be worth millions of dollars. What would you tell yourself?
So I'm the same guy I was 6 years ago when I was broke. I'm just more of that person. So everything that I did in this Amazon business, I kind of took a step back. I was always chasing money my whole life, right? I was going from job to job. This one's offering me more opportunity. This one's offering me commission. This one's offering me more money. I never really stayed in one place for too long. And I was always chasing more money and more money and more money. And I finally took a step back when I had this awakening in 2009, 10, and 11. And I said, how can I make myself, better? How can I make myself more value? How can I attract more money instead of chasing more money? And I think I became a better person. And I think by doing that, I took a different approach to my Amazon business. And I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to take any shortcuts. I'm not going to break any rules. I'm not going to try to beat the system. I'm not going to try to look for loopholes. I'm going to do everything in a sustainable, long-term, scalable fashion. And every decision I've ever made in my Amazon business has always been, how can I automate this? How can I outsource this? How can I delegate this? How can I use software? How can I use processing, logistics, infrastructure, technology? How can I do this on a large scale? How can I build this so that it's scalable? How can I build this so that I could be a business owner and not a business operator? How can I do this so that I can do other things that I'm passionate about? We have 10 businesses. I do real estate, and we do private label, and we do a bunch of other things that I love to do. And if I didn't set my Amazon business up in the way that I did, I wouldn't be able to do those things. I have 4 kids. I just became a grandfather. I want quality time with my family too. I want to have time away from business too. As much as I love business and I love the challenge of it, at the end of the day, you got to have quality of life and you got to have balance. And, if you don't have those things, I live down the block from the ocean. I go there every morning. That's my sanctuary. I think, I meditate, I pray, I exercise, I do whatever I do. And it allows me, I think, I read, I plan, I strategize. I do all these things outside of the scope of when I get in the office and it's fireworks going off. So all these things that I do, there's a method to the madness. And I think if you go in with that mindset, you'll be able to achieve bigger things. And if you think big picture and you get rid of your limiting beliefs of why something can't work or won't work, you just got to do it. I mean, you have one shot at this, and if you don't seize the opportunity, it's your own fault. I mean, there's no one to blame but yourself.
No, that's true. There was a question in the feed. It might be the last question of the night, but it was, do you assist people with getting ungated? Your clients kind of.
Yes.
Is there like a program there? Or you assist them getting ungated in as many things as possible, right?
So a big part of our program, obviously, is suspension prevention and account reinstatement. Should you get suspended, we also do ungating. So we get people approved in grocery, health and personal care, beauty, shoes, clothing, DVDs, sexual wellness, automotive, any category that's gated, we can help get you approved if you're a client. We don't do one-offs where if somebody calls and says, hey, get me approved in this, I'll give you a couple $100. We're not looking to do that. Because, we want to put a value on our time and we really want to work with people. I've seen other programs that sell for a couple $100. I'm not going to mention any names. And I would hazard a guess that they have a 2% success rate, because there's tons of material and there's not a whole lot of guidance and people really don't know what to do or what order to do it or what to do when they run into a problem. We tried to flip that where we're hands-on, we're in your face, we're answering questions, we're in Facebook, we're on the website, we have the Zendesk set up to do support tickets, we're doing coaching calls. So we have a 98% success rate. And I'd rather help less people and have a higher success rate than sell to millions of people and have a lower success rate. I just don't think that's good business.
Okay. So that basically is wrapping up our show. I'm going to give Sam, the 2 places that people can find you is the Amazon Consulting Experts, right?
Yeah, .com.
.com. That's being worked on, but it's almost ready, right? It's being worked on.
It's ready. It's
ready.
live.
Okay.
It's live. We're just changing some images and pictures and text, but nothing consequential. And then, we have the Facebook group, Amazon Consulting Experts. And then if you're a client, we have a separate mastermind group for clients only, where we share, real-time information and things that you can monetize and things that are happening behind the scenes at Amazon. It seems like every day there's brand restrictions, there's buyers opting out of emails, there's people hacking accounts and two-step verifications. There's, all these things just happened in the last week. There's so many things going on. There's sellers that are jumping onto Amazon, just launched, and they're deflating prices artificially. So these are all things that we have information about that we share with our clients in real time so that they can be prepared and monetize and execute. Getting back to the cost, I can't make any guarantees, but I could show you results from our clients. We've had people that, grew their business by 5,000%. We have people that started with zero. Like I said, did $2.5 million the first year. We had people that started 2 months ago. They did 20 grand in their first month with $8,000 in profit in their first month. There's no other business in the world where you could start and be profitable in the first month. There's just no such thing. So, if you look at it that way, it's not a lot of money. Obviously, we have different people from different walks of life and different, financial backgrounds. We have people telling us, Chris Green's like, dude, you're charging too little for what you're giving. We have people saying, I'd gladly pay you more if you do X, Y, and Z for me. We have people that want to go with us to China and source products. We have people that, want access to our wholesalers. So we're doing different things with different people at different levels. But yeah, we give you a lot. We have VAs that are working on our clients' accounts behind the scenes, taking care of all their back office stuff. So returns, refunds, reimbursements, shipment reconciliations, stranded inventory, suppressed inventory, unfulfillable inventory, any customer damage claims. That alone, most people charge $300-400 a month for. Or either so sellers either don't do it or they outsource it for $300-400 a month. So if you look at it, all the different things we have, online arbitrage sourcing lists that we share with our clients. We actually show our clients what we're buying for our business every single day. We email them a list of what we bought that day for our business. Not necessarily so they go and buy the exact same items, but they get a sense of which stores we're shopping at, which websites we're shopping at, which wholesalers we're shopping at, which brands we're buying, which colors, which sizes, which styles, which sales ranks, which sales velocities, which profit margins. And when you factor all that in, you start to see patterns. And then you have a much better idea of how to approach your own business.
Gosh, that's amazing.
That is great.
There are a lot of people in the feed are saying it's a really action-packed hour of information, Sam. Like lots of good stuff. Like great show. I have to listen back to it. Extremely enlightening show. Great show. And then the last thing that I want to remind people about is the ACE thing. How can people link up with you for this ACE conference that's in about 2 weeks, right?
Okay, so the ACE conference, again, April 23rd, 2017, Neptune, New Jersey. It's on the Jersey Shore, if you know where Asbury Park is or Long Branch or any of those places. The best airport is Newark, which is EWR. We have deals with the local hotels. I think it's like under $100 a night. It's going to be at a country club overlooking a beautiful golf course. We're going to have music. We're going to have food. We're going to probably have alcohol and cigars. We're going to have guest speakers from all over the world. And it's going to be an incredible day, action-packed day. You'll be able to meet some major Amazon players. And we have, one thing I didn't stress, our consulting business is a family. It's a community. Everybody's giving. Everybody's sharing. Everybody has the abundance mentality. There's no hoarding secrets and information. Everybody shares. And when you share information with 200 people, you get paid back 200 times over. And obviously you're not sharing to get paid back, but that's just the way the culture was built. and it's really incredible to see. And every single one of our clients has strengths that I don't have, and they all contribute in different ways. You know, we have people that are IT managers. We have people that are doctors and lawyers and hedge fund managers. We have plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills as clients. We have, you know, it's amazing the clients that we have. You know, everybody wants to be in e-commerce these days because of lifestyle and freedom of time and freedom of money and freedom of location and infinite scalability and unlimited potential. And I started with less than $20,000 6 years ago, and we did 20 million last year. So if that doesn't tell you what's possible, nothing will.
I think that's a great way to end the show right there. Wow. Started with 20,000, ended with 20 million. I think I have to change the title.
I'm not done.
Well, man, it was a pleasure having you on. People in the comment section are loving it. Again, guys, check out his site, check out the conference, links down below. If you guys did enjoy this, I mean, we have 230 people watching live, only 90 likes. Let's get those likes up to 150 really quick. Show some love. We got Jason T. Smith in the comment section. Appreciate you hanging out.
I love Jason.
Jason, we had the privilege of meeting him in Vegas recently.
He's my Vegas buddy.
Dude, have you been to his house?
No, he took me to a bar. He didn't take me to his house.
Like a museum over there, man.
He took me to a dive bar. That was awesome.
I think we might have been in the same one.
There, yeah.
Did you have what was the drink that he gave us? And we were like, so.
They're both dive bars. One's Frankie's and the other one's the that other place. Frankie's.
What was that drink that he gave us? It was like
it's a word we shouldn't be saying. We shouldn't be saying on the hangout.
It's a G-rated program.
I have to say it.
Anyway, it's on the video that I launched on my channel today. So
that's great. Jason's a great guy. Jason's a great guy.
Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate the love, the comment section. We appreciate everybody watching live. You guys kept it cool and positive in the comment section. Sam, thank you so much for sharing, your journey
pleasure.
And the information.
If anyone has any questions, you can reach me on Facebook or you can email support@AmazonConsultingExperts.com. If anyone wants to do a free consultation to see if it's a good fit, me and my staff are open to that. We're just looking to impact as many lives as possible. That's the long and the short of it. And, like I said, we're here to serve,
Well, that means a lot, because Chris and I, we follow the same, motto and values where, we make these YouTube videos to help others. There's other things we could be doing with our time, obviously, but we enjoy connecting with people. And it seems like, that's one of your values as well. So, we definitely
I love your tagline that says helping others make money. Or something to that effect. That's awesome. By the way, I'm a big Pearl Jam fan, so
he sees it. I know he sees
it. Eddie Vedder's my boy.
That's like a 1991 poster.
I know that's from.
Crazy old.
You're in Austin, Texas, huh?
I am.
Steve, where are you?
I'm in Connecticut.
Oh.
Yeah. So
where,
I'm
or
over near the Hartford area. So I think I'm about. You live over near the Neptune area, so that's probably around what, 3 hours, 3.5 hours away from you.
Yeah, we have a lot of clients in Connecticut, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. We have a lot of clients here in the Northeast.
Dude, we got to get up for a video live, man. Come over to the warehouse, man.
Definitely. If you want to do it April 24th, if you want to do a live show from there.
As long as Mama Profits, aka my mother's allowed to come along, because she's running the show, man. So all right, guys.
Chris, you want to come to the conference?
I wish I could. I think my parents are going to be coming in town sometime mid-April. So yeah.
Okay. So Steve, if you want to stay for the next 2 days with your mom, we'd love to have you.
Well, thank you, man. Definitely appreciate that. We'll stay in touch. You guys go to the conference, go network with people. It's worth your time. And Sam, I'll see you at the end of the month. Thanks everybody for watching, and see you next week. Thanks, Sam. And thanks everyone in the comments.
My pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye.